Hello everybody, welcome back to our next video of all things PSW. Congratulations to every single person who has passed the NACC exam. And if you haven't yet, please don't give up. There is always hope, and reach out to me if you need any assistance. Before we get into the video, please be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for sharing with your colleagues as well. So the reason for the video today is because I have noticed that quite a few of you are passing, and it gives me great hope and joy. But we're going to do another interview preparation video. So I think this is important because just because you've passed the exam, there's still another milestone that you need to go through, right? And that's interview preparation. And there is a very wide range for PSWs based on where you work. I have managed different settings, and I will let you know that the unionized settings do pay a bit better than the other settings. I'm in Ontario, so if you, for example, work for a retirement home, it might be a little less money than if you work for a hospital, for example. So what I'm trying to do is just to prepare you for whatever setting you want to ensure that there's interview success and to ensure everything's good. It's going to be a short video, but I will kind of let you know what I've seen in my life as a manager that made me hire someone versus not hire someone. So I'm hoping that this will help you. Okay, so all these are scenario-based questions. So we're going to really dig deep and really understand these questions. So the first question could be something very simple, and we discussed this before, but why are you here? Tell me about yourself. So this question is where people go wrong. Again, I put this in interview preparation 1, but already if you start even like an essay or any type of project and your beginning is not well, you already lose the person. So be very engaging for that. So look at PSW interview preparation for 1 to understand this part. So let's get into the scenarios. So why they ask scenarios is they want to really understand, what do you know? This is where you have to literally take module 1 to module 12 and incorporate them in a particular question. Okay, so I'll give you an example. So they could say, oh, okay, so you're working a day shift and you walk into the room and you notice that Mrs. Smith is short of breath. What do you do? So this might seem like a short question. It's not. Always ensure you speak for at least 2 minutes when you answer a question. So what would you do? So someone could come to me and say, oh, I would go and call the nurse. Okay, that's good. But for me, that doesn't show any critical thinking, any evaluation, anything that you learned. So this is the right way to answer that question. You would say, I would walk in and understand that this is an emergency. I would note the position of Mrs. Smith. If I need to put her up in a high Fowler's position, I would, because I understand that this is the best position for breathing. I will then go and call the nurse because I understand that being short of breath is a respiratory issue and it may lead to further complications. Once I talk to the nurse, I would also alert the nurse that this is an emergency situation. I will work with the nurse to ensure that Mrs. Smith is comfortable and that all the care is provided to her. If there are any other things that I need to do in the shift to ensure that she is well, I will. For example, I understand shortness of breath may lead to personal care difficulties. She might not be able to groom herself that day, even though she's previously independent. I would ensure that I would provide her with optimal care and make sure that she is restored to her optimal level. So right there, I'll say, okay, 1, you spoke about what you did first, which is the repositioning, because you understood that the lungs have to be upright. The second thing that you did is you went to the nurse because you understood that it's an emergency. The third thing you did is that you followed her throughout the shift to make sure that she is comfortable. I would trust you with my patient. So this is the thing with scenario-based questions. Some people just think you answer it and you're done, but you have to explain why your answer is the answer, if that makes any sense. Okay, so let's do another one. You're walking down the hallway and you notice that Mr. Jones is falling. What is your immediate course of action? So you could go and say, I will try my best to catch Mr. Jones and make sure he doesn't fall, which is definitely not right because you're going to get injured. As we know, if someone is falling, you ease somebody down, you make sure you hold their head, but you don't go and try and catch somebody. That's just not how life is. And if you've ever witnessed a fall, it's like a car accident. It's very quick, right? So definitely not. I would feel you have a knowledge gap and I would be worried to hire you for my organization. So what you could say, or the best way to approach it is, I would definitely see if I am in proximity to ease Mr. Jones's head to the ground because I understand that head injuries are very prevalent with falls. So that would be my priority. I would also understand that falls do happen and that I do not want to cause any injury to my patient. I will also ensure that after the fall, I would inform the nurse. There's probably a lot of protocols, including head injury routines and different things that need to happen. And we would also assess if the falls are frequent. Frequent falls mean that there's something that maybe we can improve, but if not, we can make an assessment of his room to make sure that there are no slip rugs, for example, to make sure that he has the right type of shoes, to make sure that he has the right type of bed, to make sure that his bed always has the call bell present, to make sure that we put it in the lowest position. So any type of thing that we can do to prevent falls is something that I will do and work with the nurse and any other interdisciplinary team member to achieve, because we do want to prevent falls in the organization. So right there, you've kind of expanded that as well to make sure that, hey, I know about falls. I know that it's an interdisciplinary team member approach. I know that Mr. Jones is falling. I'm not going to try and catch him. I will, though, prevent a head injury. And I also know that I have to inform the nurse. And we have protocols such as checking blood pressure, checking vital signs to make sure that, for example, there's no hemorrhage, you know, that there are no other complications from the fall that occurred. Okay, so that was question number 2. I will do one more. And if you guys like these questions, let me know and we will definitely go from there. So another question could be this. You are working with a coworker and you notice that as you are repositioning Mrs. Lee, that she is very aggressive and she keeps saying negative things to her and that she keeps calling her derogatory names and she's handling her very badly. What would be your approach? So some people may come to me and say, I will report it to you as my manager. Although that might seem like the right thing to do, you did not follow the chain of what I call, it's not chain of command, but there's a certain level of communication chain that you need to follow every time you're working in this particular field of healthcare. The first thing that you do whenever you have an issue with someone in healthcare is talk to them first. If that part is missed, then you've missed a part of the chain and you've gone above it. So if you said, I will report this to my manager, that would not be the right answer. So what is the right answer? The right answer is, after providing care to Mrs. Lee, I would take my colleague to the side and talk to them in private. I would explain what I felt when we were providing care for her and how I felt about the way that she approached this care. I will see if I can give her any ideas or any information on how to be compassionate, on how to approach a patient, on how to be client-centered, and on how to ensure that somebody is comfortable. If I work with this colleague again and this persists, I then realize that I will have to inform my manager. But I do understand that I do have to talk to my colleague first because sometimes it may be a misunderstanding. So this is something that we can rectify on our level, and this is what team building is all about. This is what teamwork is about, by being able to appreciate each other, discuss things together, and ensure that we provide optimal care for our patients. And that's it. So once you say something like that, it shows that I guess you're not a snitch, because guys, to be honest, managers do not like the snitchy workers. You know, the ones who come and just talk about, hey, this person did this person did that. What did you do about it first before coming to me? So I'm hoping this helps. These are just 3 questions. I can do more, and then we can definitely go from there. So good luck with your interviews, and please make sure you dress professionally if you're going in person or on Zoom. Wherever you are, just make sure you dress professionally. If you're doing it virtually, make sure your background is nice and clear, that you don't have a lot of confusing stuff in your background. A clear background is always best. If you are going in person, arrive 10 minutes early, and make sure you always smile regardless of if the interviewer is not smiling at you. Smile through the whole interview. It goes a long way. So be positive and good luck. Thanks, guys. See you in our next video.